So I'm going to start with my feet facing this way, not too wide in the beginning. I untie my shoes, let my feet, I keep them on though, and there's a reason for that. Untie my shoes, and literally the first stretch is just a minute on this side, 1 minute in the middle, and 1 minute to the right. If something feels tight, you can come up a little bit. Take a deep breath in. Don't force it though, just relax into it. Don't and force it. We go. Now, so that's step number 1. 1 minute in all 3. And if you feel a little bit tight, then you go 30 more seconds or whatever back through them. If you noticed, I kind of did that. So now phase 2 is to the side, but to the side with the feet still this way. So this is phase 2. Okay, now phase 3. Toe up. Now we're getting a little bit more of the back, but we're still kind of getting this inside, and now we're getting the back end of the posterior chain rather. So we want to stretch out our whole drivetrain, if you will. So when you spend time on this side, so there's a pattern, so you don't have to sit here and wonder, oh, did I remember to do this stretch? Just follow the habits and procedures, follow the phases. Phase 1, standing. Phase 2, standing, but going to either side. Phase 3, going to either side with the toe up. Phase 4, we've been doing stretching all this stuff in here, right? Now we gotta stretch, we need to do the standing again, stretch the front, stretch the quads. Now, I've got a couple tips on that. So now, and I'll let my back arch, and I'm gonna pull, instead of standing really upright and pulling my heel into my butt, like you hear people are taught this when they're younger, but don't do that. Pull it back this way. Pull it back and away from you. And don't pull on hard, just ease into it. But then I'm pulling open my psoas. There's a muscle that goes from up inside that attaches to your spine in the front, and then it connects all the way down to your femur. And that gets tight because we sit a lot and we do a lot of things. Well, it's a lot of sitting. And even in running, this motion tightens that psoas up. So we're not just stretching the quad, we're stretching the core muscles and the subterranean core muscles, like the psoas, that join the core and the lower half together. So we want to open those up. And remember, never stretch cold. Only stretch after you've done your exercise. If you're doing a weight training exercise, stretch about midway into your weight training lightly, and you can do light stretches from the midpoint on, and then finish with a good stretch at the end. So you're never stretching cold on cold muscles and cold ligaments. You got to get the oil out of the oil pan and up into the engine and into the parts. Get everything lubricated up before you stretch. So the only thing I would finish with for the short stretch routine would be one more round of 1 minute here, 1 minute, one in here. Now, if you feel a sticking point, like for some reason, like on this side, you tend to be tight on this side, go back over here to that side and reach around to the side, reach around here towards your heel. So, but I'm doing the long stretch today. So phase 5 is for short stretch day. Phase 6 is mandatory for long stretch day. So on a day when for me, like if I've run 6 miles, then that's worthy of going down on the floor and doing phase 6. Okay, so now phase 6 of the stretching routine is on the ground. Legs open, and we're gonna spend a long time on each side, but we do different things while we're on that side. I want you to see my feet. So in the beginning, don't just grab this and torque. That's gonna cause micro tears in your Achilles tendon and in the ligaments and so forth, up into your calves. So we just wanna ease into it. And then we're gonna work our way around the foot. So we pull on the center of the toe a little bit, we work our way over towards the inside. This is one of our secret stretches. Stretching your calf this way stretches it in a way that really, really makes a huge difference and a huge impact. And it's also stretching these ankle ligaments, that keeping those ankle ligaments flexible. And there's going to be a stretch at the very end that I'm going to show you that combined with this creates a more flexible ankle. Now, instead of having a brittle, sensitive ankle, now you have a resilient, elastic ankle that even if you're trail running or hiking somewhere on rougher terrain, or even just on just a dirt trail or something, if you roll your ankle with the right training and doing this over time, I can trip on a stump and roll my ankle and just run right through it. 9.9 times out of 10. And that's because of this part of my training. It's not something that you're just born with, it's something that I worked for. And then I'm gonna work my way back up towards the middle. And then I'm gonna work my way towards the outside, and it's gonna pull on a different part of the muscles and tendons and ligaments on this side. By pulling on this side, I'm getting more of this side. And so we literally so I recommend people get your iPhone out, keep some YouTube right here, and I want you spending 2, 3, 4 minutes on one side alone when you're over 50. Over 40, still at least a minute to 2 minutes on one leg before you switch to the other one. And so I'm gonna sort of hit all of these. I'm gonna look for spots where it's really tight, and then I'm gonna hold it there. Hold it there for a minute. And then maybe I'll search around and I'll look for another spot. And I'll be like, oh yeah, let me just hold that one for a little bit. 30, 45 seconds, 60 seconds. Just let my body because it takes time for your body. In 30 seconds, your body can't just let this go. In 30 seconds, just starting to finally let go. And you hold it for another minute, and boom, it can finally release these little quirks. These little things get wound up. The way the muscle fibers are built, they get wound up, and these little kinks kind of semi-snap and get micro tears and get tweaked, and they're like little corkscrew things. So they have to sort of unwind and let go. So getting them to unwind and let go is part of the trick. And that takes just time under tension, holding that under tension, gently breathing through it and letting it let go. Watch this. So now that this has gotten good and it's finally releasing, this is my tight side. This is the side I've had injuries on. Now I'm gonna pull the inside right, and I'm gonna walk this hand out and keep walking it out until I'm stretching the whole side all the way up through the IT band and the outer fascia, the vastus lateralis, all the way up, and it goes all the way up into the hip and the hamstrings and the glutes. And this lets a lot of tension go, but you don't want to hit this one right away. That's the last one. This is the last one I do typically. before switching over to the other leg. We've been allowing these muscles, doing all this, these muscles to tighten back up. Now that we're up off the ground, stretch those again real quick, open those up. Nothing crazy long. These open up pretty easily. 1 minute on each side. So again, we're on phase 7. So this whole routine takes 30 to 40 minutes. You can do it in 30. I'm talking, so it takes a little bit longer. And I encourage you to get used to letting it take some time. Let it take 40 minutes. That's fine. Now this is one of the magic stretches. That's one of the reasons I keep my shoes on. And one of the reasons we keep our shoes on is also so we can grab the sides. If you're barefoot, like your hand slips off and you can't get quite the same angles. I use the shoe as a gripping point to pull on the different angles. And now this is no different. Without the shoe, I use the shoe as sort of a lever point to, it's almost like purposely rolling your ankle. But what's funny is you get to stretch the underneath layer of the soleus up in here. That especially for men tends to be very tight and can be for anybody. And then I'll reach down. And so I'm stretching not only these ligaments and all these things on the outside that if they're not stretched and if they'll get more sensitive and they get more tight and brittle. When these are brittle, that's when you step on a little rock and you roll your ankle and oh, now you're messed up. But if you can create flexibility out here, not only am I stretching a bunch of key muscles that tend to be very tight in runners on the outside here, but I'm creating flexibility in this